Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to kind of go back to my roots and we're going to look at what is happening with the freight market right now and what might happen in the future. We're going to be looking at tariffs, port volumes, bankruptcies, layoffs, and the new regulations that are all affecting the trucking industry. So the question is, how is it affecting trucking? What does that mean for the future? And I would be really curious to hear your thoughts in the comments about all of this. All right, let's get into it. Ready? Let's go. All right, we're going to start with freight volumes. Since the implementation of the 145% tariff on China, cargo shipments have taken a nosedive. Now, according to the Los Angeles Times, the port of Los Angeles, which is one of the busiest in the nation, is expected to see a 35% drop in volume starting next week. Although I have to say that some say that it's actually a 45% drop in volume. Now, that's massive. How is this possible that this is happening? It's pretty simple. Importers rushed to stockpile goods before the tariffs hit, creating a temporary surge. But now, with tariffs in effect, the orders from China are kind of drying up. Now, a FreightWaves report echoes this, and they say that there has been a huge decline in container ship voyages from China. Now, imports account for around 20% of trucking volume. So when ports like the Port of Los Angeles or the Port of Long Beach start slowing down, truckers feel it immediately. What's even more interesting is that a 2023 study cited by the LA Times showed that even a 1% drop in cargo at these ports would wipe out nearly 2,800 jobs and endanger 4,000 more. But it's not just California. Overdrive Online recently released a freight article saying how freight analysts are now predicting a prolonged freight recession, revising earlier optimism for 2025. According to that article, the Cass Freight Index, a key indicator, is trending towards another decline, and trucking volumes are nearing pre-pandemic lows. Now, what are people saying about these tariffs? Well, there are two schools of thought. Group one is sounding the alarm, saying that that's it, trucking is officially dead. Group two is saying not so fast. This is a necessary pain for a brighter future. So my first question to you guys is, where do you stand? Now, no matter what the opinion is on tariffs, whether you're one of those people who says tariffs are unnecessary or you're one of those who says that they're a necessary discomfort, right now they, as well as the freight market as a whole, are having an effect on truckers. So let's talk about the human toll factor, bankruptcies, and layoffs. FreightWaves reported that numerous companies, from Florida's David Express to Michigan's Equity Transportation, have shut down in the past month. Others, like Best Choice Trucking in Massachusetts, have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And if we talk about layoffs, they are even more widespread. FreightWaves details how the transportation industry is faced with major layoffs as volumes shrink. Mack Trucks, for example, announced a cut in hundreds of jobs at their Pennsylvania plant, citing economic uncertainty. Volvo Group is downsizing at multiple facilities. And Overdrive notes that Kenworth as well as Daimler have also slashed jobs in the past year. FreightWaves actually warned that an industry that has been battered by this market is now facing a new wave of cost cutting. Now let's move to capacity. FreightWaves reports that given the market situation, carriers are reducing capacity within their own fleets to match the weaker demand, whether it be scaling back their operations or parking their trucks entirely. And then, of course, there is the new policy that we can't forget about. The CVSA recently voted that, yes, absolutely, they will be placing drivers with limited English proficiency out of service. And according to FreightWaves, this new out of service criteria becomes effective June 25th, 2025. So how many folks are actually at risk of being placed out of service? If you ask insurance companies, their estimate is about 10% of the industry lacks English proficiency skills. But if you ask people around, they will say it's nowhere near 10%, it's more like 30%. And as FreightWaves states, and I'm going to quote this, with over 3 million interstate CDL drivers in the country, according to the FMCSA's most recent statistics, the out-of-service mandate could lead to a significant drop in capacity in the market. So let's wrap this up with a critical question. What happens to the trucking market as tariffs as well as regulatory shifts are reshaping the way the trucking market is? Right now, tariffs are slashing volumes at major ports up to 35%, according to the Los Angeles Times, for example. But at the same time, capacity is shrinking. Carriers who are not able to survive these volatile times are parking their trucks or reducing their workforce. And we can't forget again about the CVSA ruling, which will potentially sideline thousands of drivers because of English proficiency. So if both capacity and volumes drop proportionately, the market actually might stay balanced. The spot rates could hold steady and truckers who survive might not see much change. But balance is a big if. What if capacity doesn't shrink as fast as volumes do? Well, that's pretty clear. That would tank rates. And for truckers, that means razor-thin margins that they're operating on right now, tougher competition, more lost days. Now flip the script. What if tariffs are scaled back and trade rebounds while capacity is decreasing because of the CVSA out of service or because people are just not surviving? Well, in that case, if volumes start going up but capacity is going down, obviously we're going to see rates go up as well. But the only thing that is 100% certain right now is volatility, as FreightWaves states. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about all of this? What do you see happening in trucking in the next 3, 6, 9 months? Anyway, guys, hoping you have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.